Day one of this Mexico trip we call Follow the White Dot Day, because that's what Jose's van looks like to us most of the time. The first day of a Mexico trip is a travel day, it's van time, it's fun time, and in our hearts there's an anticipation about how God is going to use us on this Mexico adventure.
Well, we're on our way to Mexico, and we do some ministry. It's going to be fun.
That's not very deep.
It's not very deep.
Sponge.
Sponge, So you're driving along for 10 hours, and then suddenly, boom, you're there. It's the border, and you're the foreigner. Two guys, one grill, mystery meat, and the most amazing tacos we had ever tasted. Fantastic. Day two of the Journey Mexico adventure was a long day of serving God. We only had 3 days on this trip, and I knew 2 days would be travel days, so I went to our Mexico ministry master, Jose Iglesias, and said, I want day 2 to be intense. I want it to be a day packed with ministry, and I wanted to give everyone on this trip the opportunity to do as much as they could on that day to serve God and experience ministry in Mexico. And Jose delivered. We had the opportunity to minister inside a prison in Reynosa. Now, they wouldn't let us take pictures inside, so I can't show you what happened, but it was an amazing experience.
The prison system is very different there. I mean, they actually have to pay to stay in the prison, and their families have to come and provide their meals and their food. You'll be sleeping outside on the ground if your family or you don't provide money for you to stay.
We took a worship team in, 3 of us shared from the Word, and had an amazing response.
It was cool to see people that long to know the truth.
Next, we drove to an area outside Reynosa where families live in houses that they built out of scrap metal and scrap wood, with no sewage, no running water, and no electricity. Hurricane Emily had been there 3 days before us and left this area in wreckage. We came to bring food, and we came to bring the gospel, but many of us were unprepared for what we saw.
At first, when we went there, it was just extremely overwhelming, just feeling like, what could I do? We pulled up with the vans and we were going to give the food away. We started putting them in the bags and getting them ready, and I just thought there's no way we don't have enough food, and there was so many people coming out over to the van to get food.
You saw one person here, one person there, and then when we parked the vans, they just came out in droves.
We saw people just coming out of all these cardboard shacks, and they were walking down this railroad tracks where they lived to this place where they lined up, and we didn't think we had near enough of food to hand out.
We brought with us a Mexican pastor from Camargo named Cancino. Cancino was an evangelist before he was a pastor. So you give this guy a group of people and he's just on. He's got them clapping, he's praying for them, he's got our people praying for them, and next thing we know, he's preaching the gospel and praying for people to receive Christ. Meanwhile, we continued to package the food and people continued to come, and the question remained, did we have enough food for everyone?
My thought was, this is almost cruel, because I just knew we were going to have to turn people away because there was just so many people coming out.
And Jose prayed, that God can multiply fishes and bread, so maybe it'll work for us too.
We just all stood around the bags and we just prayed, Lord, just make this food more than what it is.
So after this prayer of faith, we did what we came to do. We lined them up and we began to give away food.
Handed out, and it happened we had just over what we needed for all the women that came out that needed food.
I just really felt the Lord had definitely performed a miracle, because it definitely looked like we didn't have enough food, and He multiplied it, and I just praised Him the whole time.
it really gave me a perspective of, I need to be coming down doing this sort of thing on a regular basis.
It really touched my heart very much. It was most rewarding is just seeing the smiles on the people's faces, the kids.
I just immediately thought of how grace, everyone pitches in with their gifts, builders, carpenters, painters, everyone has something to contribute, and I think if we could get more people from Grace to contribute, we could definitely go and help those people and improve their life, and at the same time just show them Jesus.
It does not need to be a year between me coming out and giving the little bit that I have, being how blessed I am.
The Spirit was definitely moving, and I'm just really happy to be a part to serve. I love it.
The day wasn't over yet. In the evening, we drove back to Camargo and we provided a service in Consino's church in Camargo. We took a worship team, 3 of us shared from the Word, and the ministry time overwhelmed us.
Mexico is such a great and fantastic mission, as we're so close and we're so able to get there so easily. So there's really no reason not to go.
You just have to go because, Jesus said that our neighbor is the one who needs us, and there's no one who needs us more than the people we saw on this trip.
Their church is struggling financially, so the whole time you are there, you feel like, wow, just us being here blesses them, and it shows that we love them across the border. And
having never been here before, and just everything that we did, the prison ministry, just the worship at the churches, and visiting the cardboard villages, and just really also being able to fellowship with the rest of the people who came on the trip was just really great.
We saw the power of the Holy Spirit moving people's lives, not just we gave them rice and beans, but we gave them hope. Like, yes, Jesus can meet your needs, but Jesus is also worth living for, and it's not about what you have or don't have. It's the same in the kingdom of God. And
being able to provide a service was just so great. With such limited resources, the impact that you have on these people is so much greater.
I know your neighbor at home needs you, but it does not take much out of your week. It takes one day off on a Friday. You come down for a couple days, and trust me, you're going to have an opportunity to love people. You're going to have an opportunity to really make a huge difference in their lives.
On day 3, after some much-needed rest, we rose up in the morning and began the long journey home. We made a brief stop in West to enjoy some kolaches, and the whole way home we praised God for everything He'd done, and we look forward to the next time we had the opportunity to go on a Mexico adventure. Thanks for coming with us. Well,